Welcome to this episode of Girl Talk, everyone. We have a super special episode in store today, don't we?
Oh my gosh.
It is, and special is the right describing word
emotional
for it.
Emotional, too, I think, for so many folks.
Because we've been talking for a long time about the Design for a Difference initiative when we've been at Bella Domicile, and now today we're on a new set because we are at the Center for Families Respite Center that they, along with some other designers in the area, have worked so hard to turn into this great space for the children.
It's perfect. This project we've been talking about now for months, I think.
Yeah.
We get to be here in the space. I have goosebumps. I think that literally just came over me like a shockwave. But we're here in the space and getting to see what a special thing it is for the folks involved in the project, more importantly, the folks who are able to utilize this space.
And you heard a really special story a little earlier today when the cameras weren't rolling. So do you think you could share that quick?
Well, just, honestly, hearing Chris Boehm, who we'll talk to later in the show, talk about some experiences where he has seen a family out and about that used this space, and them talking about how this place literally saved my life.
How
years
it impacted
ago.
them. Yeah.
What an impact! I'm gonna get.
But
What an emotional thing to get to see that years later. What a difference you've made in somebody's life, and for these designers to come and offer their services, for free for this space, and work together with such different personalities, and I mean all of it is just very special. I'm gonna run my mouth, excuse me.
Well, the Respite Center is a place where families can bring their children, drop them off. It can be for a short visit, it can be overnight, it can be an emergency situation, it can be a prevention situation. And I did read that this is the third oldest in the country. Wow. So it was long overdue for a makeover. And I got goosebumps too when I walked around and I looked at what all of these designers did. And what's so interesting is all of these designers are actually competitors in the business, and to have them collaborate and pull together
for their community.
As Dan said, put the egos aside and do something together for the kids and the families.
Well,
and we got dressed up for the occasion because we were so excited. We went over to Mesa Me, who we'll talk to in another episode this week, and dressed to the nines, all for the Respite Center and Center for Families.
We certainly had fun with that. Yeah, this is definitely a special day all around. And we're going to be right back with our first guest, our friend Laura Diston from the Ironstone Nest. She always has such valuable information to share. So we'll learn a little bit about restoration and refinishing right after the break. Stay tuned here on Girl Talk.
Hey folks, welcome back to Girl Talk. You may not recognize the look of this particular set. We are filming here at Center for Families, and we're in the Respite Center that has been newly remodeled by Bella Domicile and some other wonderful folks who have donated their time generously, and we're going to talk to them later. Bella is here as well as Center for Families, so we're going to interview them a little bit later. Right now you do have a familiar face. You recognize Miss Laura, and she is joining us from the Ironstone Nest, and we're so pleased to have you.
Good morning.
It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
So we're going to talk a little bit about restoration versus refinishing.
Yep, some big differences.
Yes, and then we'll talk in a minute about vintage versus antiques.
Yes.
But let's start with restoration versus refinishing, because I think this is kind of an interesting topic right now. Tell us the difference between the two. You're the master of this category.
Yeah, well, a lot of people put it on their business cards that they're furniture restorers, and unfortunately they probably just paint furniture. A true furniture restore and restoration refers to maintaining the integrity, the value, and the aesthetic of the piece. So actually you want to do very minimal work to get it to look the way that it should. Some art pieces have been restored, like Michelangelo or some of the great painters of our day. When they're restored, they do very, very little to change the look of it.
Right.
So restoration is not actually painting a piece or stripping
overhaul.
and restain. No, actually that damages the value and the aesthetic.
Interesting.
Right. So restoration refers to maintaining integrity, value, and aesthetic of the piece. So you want to do very, very minimal restoration.
Which makes sense.
You want to keep it as it was.
Right. Yes.
And bring it back to its like original glory, basically.
Exactly. And refinishing refers to if I have a water damaged top and I want to sand it down and refinish that piece, restain it, and I'm not going to take away any value of it. I'm actually going to add value to it by giving it a new life.
So refinishing could be like you change the color or you change the finish altogether.
Right, and some pieces that need to be refinished are ones that have like chipping veneer, a lot of water damage, damaged drawers, those sorts of things. Those are the ones, yes, those are the ones that you want that are refinished. But restoration is best for true antiques.
Okay.
So that's how you kind of know the difference and decide whether you should restore a piece or refinish it. Because I'm sure that's a question a lot of folks have, is they're not quite sure what to do when a new piece is acquired.
Right. Yep, exactly. So try to find an expert, us, or an antique store or something nearby that can help you determine the true value of it and if you should restore it or refinish it.
It's so good to know. I feel like you've just shed a lot of light in a short time on these big differences.
It is a big difference. There is a big difference between the two words, and I think a lot of people don't know that.
And you do this every day, so this is something that you look at a piece and just know what to do. I am not. I don't have that brain. So these are perfect questions. Yeah.
I was just thinking about these two pieces that I did a long time ago, and they were both wooden, and I didn't. I mean, they weren't antiques, but I didn't find out their value at all before I just got my hands on it.
Right. Waiting for her to say that.
I just did whatever. But what about those wood lovers that freak out? They're like, wait, don't paint that, don't do that.
Right,
What are
and
you doing?
there are a lot of people that are like that, and that's fine. If you think it should be maintained, that's great. But I always tell people, you are the one that has to live with it.
Right.
So if brown furniture, which is what we call it in the furniture business, we just call it brown furniture. If that's not your look, then go ahead and make it yours.
Make it blue.
Yeah, exactly. Make it blue, make it whatever you want, but you have to live with it. So if there's a lot of water damage or if it's sentimental to you.
The calls are already coming in, Laura. It's working.
So if you want to, keep it, it's sentimental to you, then go ahead and make it your own.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really nothing wrong with that.
Really quick before we go, I want to make sure we talk about the difference between antique versus vintage.
There's
we may
a
have to
huge
get back
difference.
to this on another show.
So antiques is anything that's over 100 years old. So from 1915 and earlier.
Wow.
Vintage refers to anything that's over 50 years old, but less than 100 years old. So anything pre-1965, but younger than 1915.
I didn't realize there was like a hard cutoff on that, but that's again
Well,
really good information.
U.S. Customs actually has that information on their website, and that really drives that point home. So anything younger than 1965 is actually retro.
Oh, interesting. I have a feeling there's a lot more on this topic.
Yes.
So this is an interesting one.
Yes, so we can touch on that again.
We'll check back with that one. This is Miss Laura Diston from the Ironstone Nest over in Sun Prairie. Fabulous store. Please go see her.
Thank
She's
you.
just wonderful.
Great to talk to you.
And thanks so much. And we'll be back. We are still filming here at Center for Families. We've got lots more coming up after the break. Stick around.
Thanks for tuning into Girl Talk. We are back here filming at the Center for Families. Later we'll be talking with Bella Domicile, who has completely redesigned their new respite center, and it is absolutely amazing. Make sure you stay tuned for that as well. But first, we've got Connie Markham, who has a new show on the CW 57 airing on weekends, and it's called Swiftwaters.
And it's a great show. I've watched it and love it.
We enjoy it. It's a duck hunting show that Sean Gibbons and I do. We're freelance open range hunters. Nothing is guided. We self-guide, our show, and we truly just enjoy being out in the outdoors. Waterfowl is our specialty, and currently we are in our season of duck hunting. We enjoy it. We do a lot with the youth program. We did the Learn to Hunt up at the Horicon Marsh a month ago. We were joined by Delta Waterfowl and DU and the federal government as well as Wisconsin DNR. And they do a 4-hour classroom, and then the kids get to go out to the marsh and do a hunt in the afternoon and then again Sunday morning. So, it's mentored one-on-one, so they get the full guidance and, go through the education part as well.
So great. So they're learning something new. They're getting outside, exploring the wilderness. Is this in Wisconsin, or you travel all over?
We travel all over. The
Okay.
Learn to Hunt was in Wisconsin. We just got back from a 4-day hunt in North Dakota.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you
Oh
are all over the
Yep,
place.
we are all over. The month of November we will hunt here, as well as October. 3 more weeks we'll be back in North Dakota. Then usually this year, the month of December, we're going to head down to Arkansas and be down there the whole month of
Wow.
December.
how neat. What a
And
cool
then
life.
January we're going to end up in the Louisiana Bayou this year. It's a new location for us, so
Wow, you guys just
we're
go
super
travel
excited.
around and see all the beautiful
Yep.
country land. And
We're
that's
fortunate
so
enough,
cool.
and we're not afraid to go knock on doors.
Yeah.
You know, get permission. People are really great. We met a lady out in North Dakota. We found land. We went to the local area and had to get the plot map. Called the lady, and she says, absolutely. And she says, there's one thing I need to ask you guys, if you could please do. And Sean's like, okay, kill as many ducks as you can. It really was. You know, it was absolutely.
neat.
People are just genuine.
And you guys have such a good time. I mean, you say you love what you do, but like it's just so evident in watching that you guys really have such a good time and a good chemistry and a good energy, and it's just fun to watch that because you guys are so upbeat and
We
happy.
do. Yeah. You know, we truly enjoy it. We try to promote it. You know, I try to get more women into the outdoors.
Yeah, let's talk about that because you do this kids program.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, talk about getting more women and families like hunting and outside, even if they're not hunting.
Right. Hunting, as well as, you know, make a little program on it. Have the kids take a map and say, okay, let's go to this park today and explore this park. There's also different programs for women, becoming an outdoor woman. You know, it's based out of Stevens Point, but they do programs all over the state, and it's for any age and any fitness of a lady. You know, so it's great. Reach out to those organizations. The Wisconsin DNR has programs specifically for families as well as women as well.
Yeah,
So-
and watching Swiftwaters is a great way to kind of get into it too, because. But I mean, I think the intimidation factor is not really having an idea of what it's about, and
No.
you guys like walk you through.
We do.
the experience.
We do. We like to do our own, you know, we scout, have it be on foot, by boat. I happen to be a pilot, so we go up in the air.
I just happen to be a pilot. No big
So
deal.
it's truly, you know, our passion. We just like to be out there and look at the habitat that's around, you know, how good is it going to be with the water levels, and just find different areas.
I'm totally daydreaming right now.
Right?
It's like sounds like such a cool
Well, and
life
just
you
the
live.
silence of it. Like, I don't know, there's something just
Yeah.
so peaceful.
And I'm not afraid to go out myself. I let Sean know where I'm going, and I'll go out into the marsh. He happens to have to go to work, and I will go out in the marsh and send him a picture and say, here I go.
He's cursing
Bet you wish
from
you were
the
here.
So, as a woman, you know, doing some exploring alone like you do, what are some of the other essentials that a lady might want to know before she goes out like that?
Know your area, you know your surroundings, your limitations. You know, do you need boots? Do you need waders? Waders is my key piece of equipment.
Sure. So
Okay.
preparation is huge.
Yep.
You want to be comfortable.
You want to be comfortable. There's a lot of women's apparel out there, you know, right now, from have it be a base layer to being comfortable in the winter wear.
Right.
I was just
You
going
know,
to say,
so-
we're very fashion forward here on
Yes.
Girl Talk, so there's women's stuff out there, right?
There absolutely is. Oh, yeah. I mean, from the big box stores to the smaller stores, there's a lot of online stores, but there's women's, you know, apparel out there for the outdoor active,
So you
know,
can
gal.
still look cute while you do it.
Yep, absolutely. Yes.
Connie,
I'm sold now.
we're already out of time. Connie, it was
All right.
such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for having
I
me.
can't wait to watch your show on the CW57 and then also talk to you again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Connie.
Great
Thank
talking
you.
with you.
Stick around for more Girl Talk. We'll be right back with Bella Domicile.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. As you may notice, Lauren and I are now joined by Dan Luck, who is probably a familiar face as we've been over at Bella Domicile many a times, and Chris Boehm, who's here with Center for Families. And we're so pleased to be here in this space. So thanks for joining us for the final segment.
I'm so excited to talk about this and learn more about the space we're sitting in.
It's really incredible. So, as we've mentioned, we are here at Center for Families, and we are sitting in the newly designed Respite Center, and it was a great place to start, but it is an absolutely phenomenal knock your socks off center right now. And Dan and the team at Bella Domicile had a lot to do with that, and we're going to talk to you a little bit later about your involvement.
Great.
I want to talk a little bit first about what the Respite Center is and what the purpose for families is.
Well, the Respite Center program is a supplemental daycare program and a 24-hour supplemental crisis child care center. So we're open 365, 24 hours a day. There are children who sleep here every night. We serve families who have low resources and little support, perhaps in their extended families. So we provide a lot of care for families that are under stress. They have medical issues, they have legal appointments. We have long-term relationships with families because you can bring your children here when they're infants all the way through the age of 15.
That's so incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I think it's important that you mentioned low resources, but also lack of support, because it's not just income based. This is somewhere that you can take your child if your family just doesn't have help and support in the area. And I think that's really important to mention.
And I really also like what you said about 24/7, 365, whether it's holidays, weekends, whatever, there's always a resource. You know, you guys are always a resource for people in the community if they're in distress. So with that being said, you know, if a family is in distress and they're going to bring their children here, what can they expect when they arrive at the Center for Families?
Well, they can expect the highest quality care in
Sounds
terms
like it.
of like child care. They can, if a parent wants to start using the center, the best way is to call 244-5700 and make an appointment with our family service workers. We have a social work component here as well. But the family service worker will introduce the family to the space and to the program.
Get them familiar and comfortable?
Yes, and do the necessary paperwork.
Certainly.
Something like an enrollment process.
Yeah.
They can bring their children when they meet with the family service workers, and then we like to give them schedule some care for the kids right away so they can meet the immediate needs, because parents are often coming to us at a critical time when something is just
because a
come
lot
up.
of times they're maybe not planning ahead, they don't realize or look to you guys until they actually are in their moment of distress. So it's
Right.
good that you can help them out immediately.
Right, yeah, well, we usually can meet those crises needs. Sometimes we can't. We serve about 700 kids and about 500 families a year.
Yeah.
We have about 1,200 enrolled in our database.
It takes a lot to keep it running and keep it open all day, every day, like you do. And I want to talk a little bit about, let's get to the makeover portion, because it is stunningly beautiful. It is perfectly warm for these kids. What does this makeover mean for Center for Families and the Respite Center?
Well, it really enhances the caregiver-child relationship.
Yeah.
It also speaks to the parents' needs in that we added another bedroom. We have this beautiful kitchen that is of the highest quality. Can feel confident it's going to be here for a very long time.
It will indeed, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and so we'll be able to serve more kids, more families, and just a much more enriched environment.
Absolutely, I believe it. It is truly an impressive space. And what is also impressive is that it was done in 9 days, is that right?
9 days.
So tell me a little bit about how it was, done so quickly, and also about Bella Domicile's involvement in the project.
Great. Well, my first exposure to the Respite Center was last spring, and I was part of a design community that came in here and toured the facility and got a better understanding of what they're all about, what the need was, and what the need was for the kitchen, which is really our area of expertise,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So we looked at it and said, this is a great opportunity for us to give back to the community and to share our gifts and talents of what we do. And so we volunteered to be involved in that area and be part of many group of design professionals that got engaged with the whole project, but we said, we'll take this little segment of the project. And so we got the cabinets in, and these cabinets were actually installed twice. And so we received the cabinets in our warehouse, we uncartoned them, we installed them in our warehouse, we had the countertops measured, they could be fabricated ahead of time then. We cartoned everything up, took it over to the center, and installed them a second time. And that was really, when you got 9 days to complete a project,
a
you
big task.
gotta do some proper planning and make it all work.
Yeah, but we know you guys are organized to a T over there. We've met the team, and they're just absolutely fabulous. So I'm not surprised you pulled it off.
They couldn't have been in better hands for the
Yeah,
kids.
absolutely.
They really couldn't have.
But what a feat, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit. So the big reveal was just recently, and what an incredible event to get everyone that was involved together and show off this space. What was it like for you, Dan, being involved in this project with Bella Domicile and Design for a Difference and Center for Families, and seeing the reactions?
Great question. I think the key word for me is community. We, as a group of designers, built a community within this space. It's very hard to be able to take different spaces and create your own little domain, but everybody works seamlessly to make this happen. So we grew as a community, and then to reveal it to the community and the staff and the families at the reveal party, again, community again, taking this space and handing it off to the staff and to the community at large. Pretty cool.
Must have felt so good.
Very cool.
So good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what an incredible transformation, and we're, I think, just feeling sort of the energy and the
Great
good vibes
energy.
in this space. And
feels so
just even
positive.
filming here, everyone's just happy to see what an incredible transformation, and getting to be a part of a team, like we talked about before we started, a group of designers to come together and be such an important part of such an important project.
Makes
So,
such a huge difference
absolutely.
for so many different folks.
This is Dan Luck with Bella Domicile and Chris Boehm here with Center for Families, and we greatly appreciate the opportunity to be here in this space and be a part of such a fun thing.
Thank
Our
you both
pleasure.
for your time and for talking with us
Absolutely.
today.
We also want to thank all of our guests for joining us today, and thank you for watching. That's it for us here on Girl Talk.